let's get into it. Get into it, guys. All right. All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining us on this program. This is indeed the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program. And as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, one and all. I really hope everyone is being safe and practicing social distancing, and everyone have their provisions with them. I hope everything is going well with you and yours. As we, I could do lessons, about, plagues and, end of days and things that are going on, in the last days. And truly, this is one of the elements that is in the last days. We will have plagues, we will have things that will befall society. And I can also put all that together and talk about all the things that's going to happen, in the last days. That goes right along with these plagues. For the love of many will wax cold. I did a video earlier talking about how they are going to release prisoners to mitigate the spread of the COVID-19 and things like that. There's a lot of things out there that we can tie together. We can tie a lot of things together to the end days. So crime may increase, but I'm not here to scare anyone or anything like that. There's a lot of things that are going on. What I want to do is just continue with our lesson as we walk through Torah. When I say walk through Bible, I think we're just going to walk through the Torah. And but I will talk about some of those other things soon enough. But I just want to make sure that you guys are doing well, keep your spirits up, keep your hopes up, and things like that. It's times like these that it does make you wonder. For example, the faith healers. It's time like these that make you wonder, okay, where are these guys? Where are they? Okay, the guys put their hands on your head and say a couple things and mumble and all that, and boom, you're miraculously healed. So times like these expose those. Times that these expose false healers and things like that. Go to the hospitals, go to the prisons, go lay your hands on them, pray on them, heal them. Right? Now, I know a lot of them will have an excuse. Well, it's about the person's faith and things like that. Well, I tell you what, we've seen a lot of miracles in the Bible, and not all of them had to do with the other person's faith, right? It had to do with the faith and ability of the person trying to perform the miracle, right? If the Lord wants to work through them or whatever. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Because a lot of these people, a lot of these false ministers out there like to deceive. I'll give you an example. Look at the prophet Elijah, and the 400 prophets of Baal, right? Those 400 prophets of Baal, they did not believe in the God of Elijah at the time, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They didn't believe in. They didn't believe that. They served another God. They didn't believe any of that stuff, right? So they're serving their God, trying to get their God to burn the stuff that's on the altar, bring fire and stuff when they prepared an altar and all that stuff, and they cutting and breathing themselves and screaming and hollering and all this other stuff, right? And so they wanted to try to invoke their God, the God that they were serving, and nothing happened. And they went all day, right? And so then Elijah go in there and he said, put water on it, okay, put some more water on it, put some more water on it, or whatever. And then he invoked the God of Israel. And the God of Israel went down and lapped up the water and everything. Fire came down and lapped up the water, dried it up, and all that stuff, right? And so what I'm saying is that miracle still happened, even though those 400 people, prophets of Baal, they didn't believe, right? They didn't believe. They didn't believe in that God, but he still just, the Egyptians, need I say more? The Egyptians, they didn't believe in the God of the Israelites, and yet those plagues and those miracles still happen. Right? So you're going to get a lot of these fake faith healers out there making it seem like, oh, well, it doesn't work because of your faith. No. I can see miracles in the Bible that happen, and it had nothing to do with the other person's faith. It had to do with whether or not you are working for the Most High God of Israel. That's what it has to do. So that's a little litmus test for you guys to understand. But anyway, they are mysteriously silent these days, right? So it is what it is, guys. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into our lesson that we've been working on. We've been working through Genesis just straightforward. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to begin in chapter 27 of Genesis. And if this is your first time joining us, I would definitely recommend that you go to, a few lessons back, 5, 6 lessons back or whatever, where we started Genesis chapter 1, right? And so we're just walking through. That's why I said walk through. We're doing a straight read through on that. And what we do is we go from the scriptures. We read the script. We read a chapter from the scriptures version, and I just want to read straight through. I have to fight myself from interjecting while I'm reading, because that's what I'm used to doing, or exegeting as well. I just want to read it without exegeting. And then what we do is, after I read from the scriptures version, where they just pretty much restore the Hebrew words and names, some Hebrew words and names, I want to go to the King James version with the Strongs to get Hebrew definitions out, okay, so that we really understand what we are reading, right? But when I read from the King James, I will, exegete what's going on or define particular terms that's available to us, right? But my first reading, my first pass through is just straight through the scriptures version, and then I will reread some. Sometimes I skip around a little bit because we kind of get the gist of it and everything, but I do read through from that point. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our lesson, which is Genesis 27. I'm starting at the first verse. And it says, and it came to be when Ishak was old and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called Esau, his eldest son, and said to him, my son. And he answered him, here I am. And he said, see now, I am old and I do not know the days of my death. Now then, please take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt wild game for me, and make me a tasty dish such as I love, and bring it to me to eat, in order that me being does what? I'm sorry, I messed something up. And bring it to me in order that my being does bless you before I die. Okay, sorry, I don't know what was going on with that. And Rivkah heard when Yishak spoke to Esau his son, and saw Esau went to the field to hunt wild game and to bring it. And Rivkah spoke to Jacob, her son, saying, see, I hear your father speak to Esau, your brother, saying, bring me wild game and make me a tasty dish to eat, and bless you in the presence of Yahweh before my death. And now, my son, listen to my voice according to what I command you. Please go to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, and I make a tasty dish from them for your father, such as he loves. And he shall take it, and you shall take it to your father, and he shall eat it, so that he might bless ye before his death. And Jacob said to Rivkah his mother, see, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth-skinned man. What if my father touches me, and then I shall be like a deceiver in his eyes, and shall bring a curse on myself, and not a blessing? But his mother said unto him, let your curse be upon me, my son. Only obey my voice, and go and get them for me. And he went and fetched them and brought them to his mother. And his mother made a tasty dish such as his father loved. And Rivkah took the best garments of her elder son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the young goat on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. Man, Esau was hairy. Then she gave the tasty dish and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he went to his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am. Who are you, my son? ? And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you said to me. Please rise, sit, and eat my wild game, so that your being might bless me. They'll say your soul might bless me. But Yishak said to his son, how is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because Yahweh, your Elohim, brought it to me. Then Yishak said to Jacob, please come near, so that I feel you, my son, whether you truly are my son Esau or not. And Jacob went near to Yishak, his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hand, and he blessed him. And he said, Are you truly my son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, bring it near to me and let me eat of my son's wild game so that my being might bless you. So he brought, okay, there we go. So he brought it near unto him and he ate. And he brought him wine and he drank. And his father Isaac said to him, please come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled and smell of his garments and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is like the smell of the field which Yahweh has blessed. And Elohim give you of the dew of the heavens and the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Let peoples serve you and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, and let your mother's son bow down to you. Cursed be those cursing you, and blessed be those blessing you. And it came to be, as soon as Yishak had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly left the presence of Yishak his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he too had made a tasty dish and brought it to his father, and said to his father, let my father arise and eat of my son's wild games, so that your being might bless me. And his father Isaac said to him, who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn, Esau. Then Yishak trembled exceedingly and said, who was it who hunted wild game and brought it to me? And I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him. Yes, he is blessed. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, bless me too, O my father. And he said, your brother came with deceit and took your blessings. And Esau said, was his name then called of Jacob? For he has caught me by the heel these 2 times. He took my birthright, and see, now he has taken my blessing. And he said, have you not reserved a blessing for me? Then Isaac answered and said to Esau, see, I have made him your master, and all his brothers I have given to him as servants, and I have sustained him with grain and wine. And what and what then shall I do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yishak his father answered and said to him, see, your dwelling is of the fatness of the earth and of the dew of the heavens from above. And by your sword you are to live and serve your brother. And it shall be, when you grow restless, that ye shall break his yoke from your neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessings with which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father draw near. Then I am going to kill my brother Jacob. And the words of Esau, her older son, were reported to Ribekah, and she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said to him, see, your brother Esau comforts himself concerning you, to kill you. And now, my son, listen to my voice and rise. Flee to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him a few days until your brother's wrath turns away, until your brother's displeasure turns away from you, and he forgets what you have done to him. And I shall send and bring you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? And Ribekah said to Yishak, I am disgusted with my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like these who are the daughters of this land, what is my life to me? Guys, so she's like, what? I mean, what in the world? Why would I even, why would I even do that? So we're going to go ahead and go to Genesis, and we'll just kind of go through, pick out a couple things. And I want you guys to remember, the chapters that we read before, 24, 25, 26, stuff like that. We do remember that Esau sold his birthright for a pot, for red pottage, right? We do know he said that. Now, we just read where he just said, hey, he tricked me and this and that. Was he really tricked? Was he really tricked? Now, I understand that Jacob put on, fake, goat hair and all that other stuff to deceive Isaac, to deceive him into thinking that he was indeed Esau. But who told him to do that? Okay, so I understand that people want to make him a trickster and things like that, but it's like they ignore some of the things. Did he trick him when he sold the pottage? He said, okay, I'll give you some, sell me your birthright. That's a transaction. That's a deal. That's an agreement. Okay, and then he didn't value his birthright anyway. He said, "What's it to me? I'm gonna die, so I don't care. Here you go," kind of thing. So let's not forget that, right? And while you guys at it, like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any lessons, right? I appreciate that. So if I look at it over here in the King James, so we can look at a couple of things. Just to go through so we can keep pushing forward. All right. So, and it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son and said unto him, my son. And he said unto him, behold, here am I. And he said, behold, now I am old. I know not the day of my death. So he said, I don't even know when I'm going to die. What, it's getting close. I don't know. Now, therefore, take, I pray thee, thy weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, bow and arrow, probably had a knife, and go out to the field and take me some venison. And venison is, it's the Hebrew 67:18 and 67:20, which is Sayid, which is hunting, game hunting, provision, food, wild game, basically. Wild game. Okay. And make me a savory meat, such as I love, you know the way I like it. And bring it to me that I may eat, that my soul may bless thee before I die. So that me, my person, my being, so that I will bless you before I die. I don't know when it's going to happen. And Rebekah heard when Isaac spake to Esau his son, and Esau went to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rebekah spake unto Jacob, her son, saying, behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, bring me venison and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice according to that which I command thee. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats. And that's why a lot of people, they don't like to call children kids, because kids are actually baby goats. But, anyway, sidebar. And I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loved it. I'm going to make this food and prepare it just the way he likes it. Okay, so just listen to me. So now, Jacob is honoring his mother by obeying his mother, right? Now it's going to cause him to deceive his father. But we want to pick out every element. Then you can draw your own conclusions. Okay. Let's skip. Okay, I'm going to make that so you bring it to him so he'll bless you before he dies. Okay, in 11, and Jacob said to Rebekah, his mother, behold, Esau, my brother, is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Okay, so everybody acting as that every Israelite is a woolly mammoth or something. No, okay, not everybody is super hairy. I'm sorry, just not everybody. I'm sorry. I'm be considered a smooth man. I don't have a whole lot of hair. Okay. 12. My father peradventure will feel me, perhaps, maybe. My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me and not a blessing. So he's going to curse me. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to deceive my father, and he's going to curse me. I can't do this, Mom. Sorry. So he's going to, and not a blessing. And then his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice and go fetch me them. So she said, no, let your curse be on me, because the Most High listened to the words of your mouth. Okay, the vows and the words of your mouth, he listens to that. Okay. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother. His mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rebekah took godly raiment of his eldest son Esau, which were in her house, and put them upon Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goat upon his hands and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And he came into his father and said, my father, he said, here am I. Who art thou, my son? And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord thy God brought it to me. Now, here's the thing. Let me just stop here for a second. Talking about cursing and blessing someone's life and stuff like that. See, when you have children, right? I want you to notice how important it was for Esau and for Jacob to have the blessing, right? They wanted the blessings of the father. And that is still in effect today, okay? A lot of a lot of kids right now, you got a lot of broken homes, right? And you got a lot of kids that they're not with their natural born father or whatever, for a myriad of reasons. You guys know some of the reasons, right? For a myriad of reasons. However, you notice how important it was for Jacob and Esau, and even how important Rebecca wanted Jacob to get this blessing, right? It's very important for them to get the blessings of their mouth, right? And so you understand. Hold on a second. Okay, so you understand that just the words of his mouth, right, can speak blessings. Okay, we know we have the power of life and death are in our tongue, right? So where I'm going, I said all that to say this: as parents, we can speak a blessing over our children's life. For example, I remember there's this speaker. I guess it was like a motivational speaker or whatever, and he went to. He was talking about a professional baseball player. He was a professional baseball player, and they visited a prison or something like that, right? And of course, people want to ask, what happened? How'd you end up here? And so the baseball player, was there visiting and stuff like that. And the prisoner asked the baseball player. He said, "Man, how did you make it? You made it all the way to the big leagues and all this other stuff." And he said, "Well, the pro player." Ex-pro player, because it's an old story, but the ex-pro player pretty much said, "Hey, well, basically when I was little, me and my dad, we go out in the backyard or we go to the park and we play catch, and he kept building me up. He kept saying, hey, I throw the ball." He said, "Man, that's a pro throw. That is a big league throw right there, right? I throw the ball, stuff like that. A catch," he's like, "Hey, that's a big league catch. You got this." He said his father kept on encouraging him. He hit the back, he crack it, and he said, "Now that's a big league hit. That's great." He said all throughout my childhood, my father would build me up. He would tell me, I'm doing things how the pros would do it. Even as a little kid, that's how the pros do it, son. You're great, this and that." Kept building up and encouraging him and stuff. And so as the conversation went on, then he the baseball player asked, the inmate. He said, well, what happened? Why'd you end up here? What's going on? And so basically, the person said, "Actually, my father told me I'm always gonna be a loser. I'm never gonna amount to anything. That I was a horrible person. All the time. Every chance he got, beat me every time. He got drunk and things like that, and I ended up here." Okay, and so that father. So the difference, this father is, one was very encouraging, and the other one is very detrimental to development, because kids inherently want to please their parents. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of rebellious children out there. I get it. I know. And I also know the opposite works sometimes too. Someone tells you you're not going to make it, and then it fuels your flame, and you go ahead and try to make it and be successful despite of them. I know that does happen. But I wanted to illustrate a point that, the words of a loving parent, okay, the words of a loving parent can carry a whole lot of weight. So you can indeed, even unto this day, you can speak a blessing on your children, right? You can speak a blessing into their lives, okay? And it's not something fancy or anything like that, but it's powerful. Not fancy, but definitely powerful. And we see that when he speaks a blessing over Isaac. You'll see that as we read. So I'm just going to drop down a little bit. And so in 21, and Isaac said unto Jacob, "Come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not." Because he said, that voice, man, something's wrong here. That was kind of fast. You came and got all that pretty quick, man. I don't know about that. 22, and Jacob went near unto Isaac his father, and he felt him. And he said, "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau." And he discerned them not. So he couldn't tell. He thought it was Esau, because his hands were hairy and his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him, okay? And he said, "Art thou my very son Esau?" So he still doubted, and he said, "I am," right? So yeah, that was deception. But he still just doubted. He's like, "Are you really Esau? Wow. Something seems a little off here." 25, and he said, "Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee." And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he did drink. And his father Isaac said unto him, "Come near now, and kiss me, my son." And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, "See, the smell of my son is as the smell of the field, which the Lord had blessed him. So again, he couple times the voice test, the field test, and he had to pass the smell test. So he's like, man, this okay. You know, he got the 2 out of 3 at least. Therefore, God give thee the dew of heaven. So he's starting to bless, right? Starting to bless him right now. Therefore, God give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee. Now, this is him blessing him. Okay, this is the blessing. These are just words, no magic wand or anything like that. This is not Hogwarts. Okay, you don't have to have an incantation or nothing like that, right? You just use blessing words, right? Therefore, and 29, and let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brother, okay, master, the ruler. And let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob. See, all the things he just said, that's a quick blessing, just like that. He just told him, just like that. Because these words, they do have power, okay? Not fancy, but definitely powerful. Made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. So he had just left. They just missed each other by a hair, right? And then, and he also made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, where is he that has taken venison and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yeah, and he shall be blessed. And said, yeah, he's going to be blessed, because I gave it to him. He's definitely going to be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even so also, O my father. He said, well, bless me too, bless me too. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing. He fooled me, he tricked me. I mean, what can I didn't know it was your brother. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? See, that's why he's called Jacob. For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright. Now, guys, is that true? That's all you got to ask yourself. Is that true? Did Jacob take away his birthright, or did he buy his birthright? Okay, I'll let you guys handle that. And behold, now he has taken away my blessing. It was supposed to go to, I'll let you guys do that. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord, which is your ruler, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. Okay, so I gave everybody in Isaac's house, he gave it to Jacob. Okay, everybody, right? He gave it to Jacob and all that. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? Okay, I'm sorry. And with corn and wine has I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? He said, what do you want me to do? I gave him everything. You know, what can I do? What do you want me to do? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shall thy live. Or he's going to have to fight for everything he gets. Okay? And shall serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So he's saying there's going to be a time where you're going to break your brother Jacob's yoke off your neck. Now, if we just look at it right here, again, we want to kind of, exegete this a little bit. Okay, so he's saying this is what's going to happen, right? Now, you have a doctrine out there, Esau the white man, stuff like that, but this has to make sense, right? So that means there has to be a time where Jacob ruled over the white man, right? They have to rule over the white man. I don't know. I mean, I know that they were not in captivity of the white man, but I don't know if they ever taken over Yavet's territory and just wholly taken over, right? I don't remember that, right? I do remember when Jacob or Israel was sovereign unto themselves, where they didn't have people ruling over them, right? Other countries rule over them. But as far as them ruling over the sons of Yavet holy, I don't know. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So they're saying, Esau the white man. I'm not quite sure about that. So, but that's fine. That's what some people do. I'm not here to debate that. Then you have some people think that they are, the Arabs. That Esau, are the Arabs. Could be some credence, right? Because you do have the some heavily melanated Arabs, because later they did start, breeding with Europeans and stuff, and so now you have more light skinned Arabs and stuff. But originally, very, 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 very dark skin. You got to really go look at some Google images of very dark Arabs. So they're very melanated and stuff like that, which would, at least make sense. But there's a time where they were, they were never really, they were never really friendly for an extended period of time, the Israelites and the Arabs, right? For this long, and kumbaya and all that. No, because even you had Herod in the first century, who was, a ruler, over Israel and stuff like that. So if you look at that, and it says in 40, and by the sword shall I live. So the Arabs, either you can say white man or the Arabs, they live by the sword, by war and violence. That's how they live. And shall serve thy brother. I don't know when the white man served, thy brother. Arabs through conquering, when they were taking over, some of those, some other people, whether it be you look at some of the ites, which most of the ites were African, what we call Africans and stuff, but some of them were come from Esau's line, stuff like that, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion. And dominion, let's look at that. Dominion is H7300, which pronounced rude. To wander restlessly to roam, to be restless and show restlessness. Okay. That thou shalt break his yoke from off your neck. So that bondage. So Israel, or Jacob, when Israel will take, that thou shalt break the yoke. Okay, the yoke is I don't want to say imprisoned, or captured, or control, or you be in servitude, that kind of thing. A person, if someone has a yoke on you, kind of like when you have yoke oxen, where you control them, okay, like that. That's that dominion, that control over you. And so he's saying, Esau, one day when you have dominion, you will one day break the yoke of your brother off your neck. Okay, so you guys have to look at it from there. 41, Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father is at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob, right? He said, my father's going to die pretty soon, but I'm going to kill my brother after my father died and I lay him to rest, then I'm going to kill him. And these words Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she went and she called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, as it concerns you, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill you. So he said, as far as it concerns you, he wants to kill you. He's determined in his heart, he's going to kill you. All right. Okay. Now, therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise, flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran. Okay. So that's where you get Rachel, Rachel and Leah and all that. Okay. So these are basically, he's going after his cousins. All right. And tarry with him a few days until thy brother's fury turn away. Okay, basically until he calms down. 45, until thy brother's anger turn away from thee, and he forget that which thou hast done to him. Then I will send and fetch thee from thence. Why should I be deprived also of you both in one day? Okay, so I don't want to lose both of you guys in one day. And 46, and Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth, such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? He said, what good is this going to be, man? I really don't want my son dealing with these daughters of Heth, these women, right? So we have that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look a little bit more at chapter 28. All right, let's just look at that. And this is how we're going to just try to do, a pretty good breakdown here. And Yishak called Yaakov and blessed him and commanded him and said to him, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan, right? It's Canaan, of Canaan. Arise, go to Padanaram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take a wife for yourself from there, from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. Okay? And El Shaddai bless you and make you fruitful and increase you, and you shall become an assembly of people, a great nation, and give you the blessings of Abraham to you and your seed with you, so that you inherit the land of your sojournings, which Elohim gave to Abraham. So Yishak sent Jacob away, and he went to Padanaram, and Laban the son of Bethuel and Aramean, the brother of Ribkah and the mother of Jacob and Esau. And Esau saw that Yishak had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Padanaram to take him a wife from there, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a command, saying, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan, and that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother and had gone to Padanaram. So Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Isaac, and Esau went to Ishmael and took Mahalat, the daughter of Ishmael. Again, went to cousins. Yeah, like cousins. Abraham's son, the sister of Naboth, to be his wife, besides the wives he had. Besides the wives he had, again, there's polygyny. So Esau had that as well. And Jacob went out from Beersheba and went towards Haran. And he came upon a place and stopped over for the night, for the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of that place, and he put it on his head, and he laid down in the place to sleep. He dreamed, and he saw a ladder set up on the earth, and its top reached to the heavens, and saw messengers of Elohim going up and coming down on it. And see, Yahweh stood above it and said, I am Yahweh Elohim of Abraham, your father, and the Elohim of Yishak. The land on which you are lying, I give it to you and your seed. Now, again, he's talking to Jacob at this time. Does the Most High seem to have a problem with Jacob? Does he seem to have a, again, I can't help but jump in. I'll continue. 14. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and ye shall break forth to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south, and all the clans of the earth shall be blessed in you and in your seed. And I am with you, and shall guard you wherever you go, and shall bring you back to this land. For I am not going to leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. And Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, truly Yahweh is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of the heavens. And Jacob rose early in the morning and took the stone that he had put at his head, set it up as a standing column, and poured oil on top of it. And he called the name of that place Bethuel. However, the name of the city had been Luz previously. And Jacob made a vow, saying, seeing Elohim is with me, and has kept me in this way that I am going, and has given me bread to eat and a garment to put on, when I have returned to my father's house in peace, and Yahweh has been my Elohim, then this stone which I have set as a standing column shall be Elohim's house, and all that you give me, I shall certainly give a tenth to you. So now you see the tithe coming in before this whole Levitical, priesthood came in. But now we see the tithe pretty early, right? We saw it in Abraham where he gave a tenth to Melchizedek, and we see a tithe again being dedicated to the Most High. So yes, we should dedicate and give to the Most High. Okay, so that's before, that's before it even came into written law, right? So let's see here. I don't think there's really much to even dig up. I mean, we can just kind of look around a little bit and let's just see anything we can take here. I don't think there's anything really to take out of this, guys. I really don't. It's pretty self-explanatory. Nothing to really exegete from it. Let's see here. 3, and God Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people. We know that's going to be the nation of Israel coming soon. And give thee the blessings of Abraham, and to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. And Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Paddan-aram unto Laban, son of Bethuel, and Syria, and the brother of Rebekah, Jacob, and Esau's mother. I want to point out something that, and Esau saw that in verse 6. Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Paddan-aram to take him a wife from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. And Jacob obeyed his father and his mother, and was gone to Paddan-aram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Isaac his father, then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the wives which he had Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael's, Abraham's son, okay, the sister of Nebajoth, to be his wife. Okay, so again, he went to a Hebrew. Okay, so Esau, who's a Hebrew, went to went to his basically his uncle or great uncle Ishmael, to that family, and started taking daughters from there, right? So you have Ishmaelites and Esau together. So again, you still haven't broken that, you know, Esau the white. I mean, you don't have that Esau the white man stuff going. You just don't. It doesn't make sense. Okay, you're talking about a dark melanated people went to another melanated. I don't know. So I'm just saying. And Jacob went out to Beersheba and went towards Haran, and he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took of the stones of that place and put them for his pillows, and lay down in the place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder sent up on the earth, and on top of it it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father, and the God of Isaac. And the land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Okay, so you have that. All the families of the earth will be blessed. There's really not a whole lot to exegete in there, guys, so I won't read the whole thing, but we're just kind of, you know, going through. So if there's anything we need to exegete, any particular words that need to be expound upon, but it's really pretty self-explanatory. So let's go to the last couple of verses. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, if God be with me, and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God to all. He said, I'm going to serve it. If the Lord does this, then I'm going to serve this Lord, right? And then the last verse, 22, and this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house, and all that thou shalt give me, I shall surely give the 10th unto thee. Okay, so he's going to just give a 10th portion unto him. So it's really, that's really self-explanatory, guys. It's really not really difficult to understand. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead and do our last chapter, which is chapter 29. Okay, we're going to close out with chapter 29. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there, and I'm gonna change it over here. Get there now. Okay, great. So now we're gonna do 29. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, let's talk about it. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Put it in the comment section, or maybe I'll respond to it a little bit later. But in the chat, you guys can go ahead and put it in there. There's not a whole lot to break down. These are pretty easy self-explanatory chapters here. So in verse 29, our last chapter we're gonna read for today. And Jacob moved on and came to the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and he saw a well in the field, and he saw 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of what well they watered the flocks, and a large stone was on the well's mouth. And all the flocks would be gathered there. And then they would roll the stone from the well's mouth in the water and the sheep, and put the stone back in its place on the well's mouth. So Jacob said unto them, my brothers, where are you from? And they said, we're from Haran. And he said unto them, do you know Laban, son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. So he said unto them, is he well? And they said, well, and see, his daughter Rachel is coming with the sheep. And he said, see, it is still high day, not the time for the livestock to be gathered together. Water the sheep and go and feed them. But they said, we are not allowed until all the flock are gathered together and they have rolled the stone from the well's mouth. Then we shall water the sheep. While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a sheepherdess. Okay, and it came to be when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother. Oh, sorry, did I? Okay. That Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And when Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's relative and that he was Rivka's son, she ran and told her father. And it came to be when Laban heard the report about Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. Then he told Laban all these matters. And Laban said unto him, you are indeed my bone and my flesh. And he stayed with him for a new moon, for like a month, okay? For a new moon. Then Laban said to Jacob, because you are my relatives, should you therefore serve me for naught? Let me know, what should your wages be? And Laban had two daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Okay, and over here is Rachel. And Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful of form and beautiful of appearance. Wow, so she had a lazy eye, according to this. And Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, let me serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Stay with me. So Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed to him but a few days because of the love he had for her. Then Jacob said to Laban, give me my wife, for my days are completed, and let me go in to her. Okay, because that was basically when he started working, that was an engagement. That's why he said, let me get my wife, right? So he said that because, you know, once you are engaged, in other words, while he was working those 7 years, could Rachel just go and see anybody and just start dating someone else and all this other stuff? That's why it belonged to him. It was just on layaway, basically. You know, forgive the metaphor, but that's kind of sort of what it was. And Laban gathered all the men of the place and made a feast. And it came to be in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to Jacob, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave his female servant Zilpah to his daughter Leah as a female servant. And in the morning it came to be that, see, it was Leah. So he said to Laban, what is this have you done to me? Why is not for, was it not for Rachel that I serve you? Why then have you deceived me? And Laban said, it is not done this way in our place, to give the younger before the firstborn. Complete the week of this one, then we give you this one too, for the service which ye shall serve with me still another 7 years. And Jacob did so and completed her week. Now, of course, that's a week of years, right? 7 years. Then he gave him his daughter Rachel too as wife. And Laban gave his female servant Bilhah to his daughter Rachel as a female servant. And he also went in to Rachel, and he also loved Rachel more than Leah. And he served with Laban still another 7 years. And Yahweh saw that Leah was unloved, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren, okay? Because he doesn't want you to treat someone poorly. Okay, his only offense was that, I don't want to say treat, because we don't know exactly how he treated her, but it wasn't good. Okay, it wasn't up to Yahweh's standards, so we do know that. Okay, and so but Rachel was barren, and Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben, for she said, for Yahweh has looked on my affliction, because now my husband is going to love me. Okay. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, because Yahweh has heard that I am unloved, he gave me this son too. And she called his name Shimon, or Simeon. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, now this time my husband is joined to me, because I have bore him 3 sons. So his name was called Levi or Lewi. And she conceived again and bore a son and said, now I praise Yahweh. So she called his name Yehuda, and she ceased bearing. Okay, so she had 4 sons back to back to back to back, right? And so she had Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, all came from Leah, okay, the unloved, right? So I mean, she the one who was blessed first, right? She's the one who was blessed first. But again, Jacob was deceived, right? Now, again, he deceived his father with the whole Esau thing he did. He deceived his father and everything. So now he got deceived. Okay, so kind of what goes around comes around. You know, kind of it fits with you reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. It fits all that, right, man? So, hey, you know, what can I say? Our next lesson we'll start at chapter 30, but I'm gonna go ahead and look at, what was that, 29. And so let's take a look in plain English, and then we are done, guys. So thank you guys for hanging in there with this. So let's see if there's anything we need to break down, right, before we close. Okay, it says, then Jacob went on in his journey and came into the land of the people of the east, and he looked, and behold, a well in the field, and lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of the well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, my brethren, whence be thee? And they said, of Haran are we. It's like, where y'all come from? And he said unto them, know ye Laban the son of Nahor? And they said, we know him. And he said unto them, is he well? And they said, he is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep. And he said, lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, we cannot until all the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. For she was a sheep herdess. Okay. And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. So he was really, really happy. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, and he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him into his house and told Laban all the things. And Laban said unto him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban, see, new moon, he stayed with him a new moon, which is a month. New moon, new month. And Laban said unto Jacob, because thou art my brother, shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught, for nothing, right? For naught, let's say not, okay? Chinan, okay? Achenam, freely, for nothing, without cause, okay? Gratis, gratuitously, for nothing, for no purpose, right? Vain, okay? So when something comes, if something comes to naught, that means nothing comes to nothing. All right, tell me, what shall thy wages be? Okay, what am I going to pay you? And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed. Okay, let me see that tender, what? Okay, arach. Okay, tender, soft, delicate, weak. Okay, tender, delicate, fresh. Okay, so, okay, soft, weak, delicate. Over there it says like it was like a weak eye. She had a weak eye. So this is what. So we put them together. We say she had a weak eye. So that would kind of be like a lazy eye, right? Tender eye, but Rachel was beautiful and well favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days, for for the love he had for her. And Jacob said unto Laban, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban therefore got, see, agreement. Remember what we said about marriage. Agreement, witness, consummation. Agreement, witness, consummation. And we have this, okay? That's biblical marriage. Agreement, witness, consummation, okay? And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. Laban gave unto his daughter Leah, Zilpah, and his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass that a handmaid basically helps a woman, okay, helps a wife. A handmaid helps a wife, assist a wife. But as we can see, they can definitely graduate up, okay, and we'll see that later. Or go from handmaid to wife, okay? It happens here in the next chapter or two. Okay, and Laban said it would be, he said, okay, 25. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me, or tricked me, or deceived me? Right? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou hast served with me 7 other years. And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week, and he gave him Rachel his daughter to wife. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid. And let's look at maid. Shifkah, maid servant, maid. That's what it is, okay? Belonging to a mistress or wife. Okay, so that's it. That's what it is, you know, belonging to, that's who the handmaids went to. And Leah conceived and bore a son, and she had called his name Reuben, for she said, surely the Lord has looked upon my affliction. Now, therefore, my husband will love me. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she said, because the Lord had heard that I was hated, he had therefore given me this son also. And she called him Simeon. And she conceived again. She started back to back to back. She started conceiving back to back. And she conceived again and bare him a son, and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing, and just stopped having kids. So that was it as far as her. She had like 4 kids right off the rip, right off the back. She had 4 kids, and then after that she was done. We'll start next week. We'll start next week and start at chapter 30. But let me see what you guys, if there is anything. Otherwise, I will let you guys be. I will let you guys go. So let's take a look here. Okay. So, all right. So nothing in the live chat. No problem. No worries. We will leave that alone. Okay. So guys, so that's it. We are walked through Genesis. We read 27 to 29. If you guys have anything, put it in the comment section below. We will return to some of the other lessons and stuff like that, so we can kind of, you know, switch it up a little bit for you guys. No problem. We will do that here soon. But I will see you guys on the next one. I hope you guys out there staying safe, distancing yourself. I hope you guys have provisions for yourself and for your family. And, you know, pray for one another, especially the like-minded individuals. This too shall pass. The thing is, there will be something else, okay? Something else will come to the forefront. This is just a precursor of what is to come, brothers and sisters. So I want you guys to stay faithful, stay in prayer and study, and obey. If he's telling you to come out and make some changes, which I think that's what a lot of this is about. You come out and you make some changes, because the next thing to come down will be a bit worse. So with that, this is the Fountain of Israel. I hope you've been as edified. And so until next time, search the scriptures, improve all things. Shalom.